Hey everybody, John the Other here, obviously. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Sheryl Sandberg, the feminist chief operating officer of Facebook. She has some advice for men in the workplace of the post-Me Too world. It's a politicized workplace. It's a legal environment in which any woman who takes offense at a man is forcefully encouraged to swiftly terminate that man's career with a whispered accusation. Men are being told by Sheryl and others to hire more women, to work more closely with more women, to make more space on their teams for women.
Mentor her, a call to action for men to mentor women.
And in essence, men are being told to surround themselves with people who, in the same breath that they tell you to hire more women, are also saying the Me Too witch hunt is only just getting started.
I think the question is not if Me Too has gone too far, but if Me Too has gone far enough.
I couldn't have made this up. Sandberg, who is also credited with creating the feminist Lean In movement, has created obviously a new hashtag-based activist push and managed, in my opinion, one of the most unique misspellings of, quote, not the Mike Pence rule, oh no, please no, ever in history. Now, before we get to the meat of the video, which is, by the way, not a point-by-point rebuttal of Sandberg's propaganda piece, it's worth defining a few things just so there's a minimum of misunderstanding. The first is, Me Too is not about justice, nor is it about stopping sexual assault. It is an ongoing witch hunt and protracted lynching of every man who might displease a woman. It's a movement permanently ending the careers of some men who might have behaved badly and thousands of men based on unproven claims outside courtrooms without due process in a maximum of haste, and this destruction of innocent people's lives is not an accidental byproduct of excessive enthusiasm. It's a scorched earth campaign pursued with knowledge and glee. There is no pretend that this is anything except a witch hunt. The second point is that if we buy into the feminist talking point that organizations are better when there's more women in command,
it's also critically important
that we get more women into leadership roles, because we need more women in leadership roles. We need more women in leadership. Organizations that have more women in leadership roles have lower levels of sexual harassment and better work-life policies and perform at a higher rate.
Something for which there is no evidence, but let's just say we entertain the idea. It's an idea which says that women are superior people to men. And for men to buy into this cult doctrine and then begin advancing it as a goal through Sandberg's Mentor Her affirmative action plan, the men participating in that must believe that they themselves have no value. If you are a man, and in the midst of this Me Too society-wide witch hunt against men, terminating thousands of men's careers, you add yourself to this. You aid and enable your own rapid disposal at bringing more potential accusers into your workplace. What you're doing is articulating your belief that you have no value, that you should be rapidly disposed of by the first woman having a bad day or who needs a convenient excuse for turning up late or any other trivial reason. Now, some women might object that Me Too is only targeting those men who are sexual abusers. I've heard that. It's garbage. But Sandberg, the chief operating officer of Facebook, is not a complete moron. She's a highly successful and accomplished executive, so I'm not going to entertain any dippy idea that she's somehow ignorant of all of this, or that she somehow believes Me Too is anything except a witch hunt and an extremely ugly mass lynching. She gets no silly dumb girl pass on any of this. Now, given the recognition that Sandberg is not a naive, doe-eyed idealist, but is an intelligent and successful executive, an author, an activist, and the chief operating officer of Facebook, her admonition to men takes on a new character. It is this: men, you should commit professional and social suicide to make way for women, who are, by the way, better human beings than you. This is a deeply craven message, based on a depraved view of men as occasionally useful things who are not worthy of human consideration. Which brings me to the actual point of this video, because this is a message for women. Now, I've pointed out before that 97% of my audience on this channel are men. Only 3% or so are women. This is what YouTube's channel analytics tell me about who all is watching what I upload here. Which means that if I'm making this a message for women, and I am, it will have to be relayed by the mostly male audience of this channel. So let's start with something basic. Less than a year ago, in October of 2017, a Hollywood film producer, Harvey Weinstein, was accused of a number of incidents of sexual assault and/or sexual misconduct. And in the wake of these accusations, women and feminists decided, more or less by public consensus, that this would be the basis for a campaign of vigilante trial by media for any man who offended them. The Me Too movement, of course. This became so popular that it appears now to be a permanent and ongoing fixture of popular culture. Thousands of men have been publicly destroyed, thousands more will follow, as there seems to be no slowing down. But this is not a movement that emerged in the wake of a groundbreaking change to constitutional law or anything else of the sort. In October 2017, women simply decided, en masse, that they would begin a campaign of scorched earth against any and all men who they took a shine to as a suitable target to be destroyed, pilloried, made into a public object lesson. Hashtag MeToo is now normal because women simply decided. And nobody is confused now about who has that almost godlike power to lay waste to somebody else's life. Anytime a woman and a man happen to cross paths, share a taxi, work in the same office, walk past one another on a train platform, or whatever. No one is confused about who can whisper a few words, and unsupported by any evidence, wipe the other person off the face of their own life. And again, this is not because of a revolution in legal equality or anything else of the sort. In October of 2017, women simply decided it would be so. And now as I record this, we are still being routinely and blandly and repeatedly told that women are an oppressed minority. Women are crushed by an overwhelming and tyrannical power of the patriarchal maleness or the hegemony of the masculine or some other idiotic nonsense. The enormity and the depravity of this lie exceeds description. And women, you are not stupid infantile cretins with peanut-sized brains. You don't need this explained to you. But if we are ever going to have a society in which men and women can actually work together, share public spaces, deal with one another as equals in business, it will only be because women acted to make it so. Because women now are the only people whose voices matter. Women are the only people now who can speak up about this disgusting and squalid tyrannical public ethic and not be casually disposed of with no fuss based on a whisper of accusation which will be instantly amplified and magnified by other women. And certainly not all men are going to go down the MGTOW path or enact an ever more comprehensive version of the Mike Pence rule in each of their own lives. Women, you're still going to have plenty of men at your continued disposal, even if MGTOW encompasses a growing, ever-growing fraction of the awakened men. But there'll be men under your feet who appease you by lying to you, and men who tolerate this by lying to themselves. Maybe you're content with that. Maybe you are happy to be treated with a never-ending elevated deference that you don't deserve and that you never earned. If that's you, I don't need to tell you what kind of person that makes you. Knowing that about you as an individual, why would I bother? And Sheryl Sandberg or any other public feminist telling men to step up, sacrifice themselves, telling men, mentor her. That's not going to happen. Men are not going to lean in. They're going to lean out. They're going to ghost you. They're going to lie to you by giving you the most bland and expected answer when they can't simply avoid you. And when they can't avoid you, they're going to. And the ones who don't ghost you, the men who remain, will do so only by lying to themselves and lying to you. So if you don't like this, well, it's on you to fix it, because guess what? You're not the victim. You're not a member of an oppressed class. You're the one with power. And having said that, men are not actually waiting for you to fix anything. Nobody expects you, the women, are actually going to do anything except repeat that depraved lie that you're oppressed. And the men, when they're forced to deal with you, will tell you only the most bland lies, and they'll tolerate this by lying to themselves, and they'll turn themselves into parodies of men who disgust you as they disgust themselves, and that will make them bitter, angry, and untrustworthy. You have, I trust, seen male feminists. That's who you'll have under your shoe, pretending to go along with the absurd fantasy that you are their victim. And the guys who are not those enforced parodies of creep men, they're not running YouTube channels telling you all about it or calling you a feminazi in the comment thread of a Facebook post. They're just gone. Like smoke. And they won't be coming back in your lifetime. Probably not in your kid's lifetime either. Maybe never.